Chapter 3.6 Junk Dog. Easy now, girl. Retta heard Tobias's voice in her head. Flying a skiff's like riding a bike. Keep the momentum going. She slowed her breath, focused, and eased on the thrust. Nice and slow. Deegan and Retta ascended upward as Nika's ship evened out. The bullets faded away, and the crowd cheered in the market below. You do know how to fly, Deegan said, impressed by Retta. Yeah, she said, calming herself, collecting her breath, and closing her eyes. Yeah, I do. She intentionally didn't mention. She learned today. Good, she heard Tobias's voice again. Keep it up, and maybe you won't crash this, Red? Deegan said, and grabbed her by the shoulder. Red? She opened her eyes and saw the shade of the dragon spine, then the actual dragon spine, fast approaching. Red! Deegan yelled. She spun the yoke, barrel-rolling her ship in an attempt to weave through the ribs of the spine. She did not weave through the spine. She crashed straight through it. The wings tore off. The fuselage torpedoed upward like a wingless bullet. It shot up into the sky, reached the apex of its climb, and like a roller coaster at its peak, fell with gut-wrenching speed. Retta's curly hair lurched forward, and she braced herself as the ship fell backwards. Oh shit! She fired the thrusters to divert the ship. It twisted just enough to spin the ship, turned it on its wide side, and made it too broad to slip between the spines. The ship crashed between two ribs, perched high above the market. Shattered glass surrounded Deegan and Retta. Distress signals blared, emergency lights flashed, and they sat themselves up from the wreckage. Retta's brain rocked against her inner skull. She survived the impact, but just barely. She felt woozy and concussed, but at least she was alive. Hey, you good? She asked Deegan. Yeah. He unfastened his seatbelt and stood up, stumbling to regain balance. Sorry I destroyed the ship. No, if anything, he seethed. He pulled away from an armrest jammed between his ribs. You saved our ass. I don't even know if what you wanted is here anymore. Retta looked at the empty shelves behind them and the open back hull. Its door swung loosely and gave them a clear view of the market hundreds of feet down below. It's not. It's all down there. Deegan pointed to all of Nika's gold down in the markets. I didn't expect this much flair, but I can work with this. He pulled a microphone out from the dashboard. Actually, I kind of like it. Deegan stepped out from the broken cockpit, held the mic in his hand, and declared, Dragon Spine Market! Consider this a gift from Deegan! The message was short and clear. His voice echoed in the gulch, and moments later, raucous cheering echoed back up. Deegan! 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 Retta was amazed. Their voices shook the dragon spine like a stadium, and Deegan relished in their applause. She turned to him. Humbleness is one of your strengths, isn't it? Deegan smiled. Of course. I am known for being modest, and handsome, and of course confident. Did I mention modest? And you can't forget strong, too. Probably my top 5 qualities. Yeah, real strong, she said and playfully punched him in the shoulder. Ow! He teased. He rubbed it with his injured hand and accidentally smeared blood across his sleeve. Retta noticed and turned serious. You good? Yeah, it's fine, he said. You know, Nika's gonna be after you. You just blurted your name to the entire market. Yeah, well, part of the price you pay for doing the right thing. Retta thought about that. He's so fine with people being after him. Should I be the same with the baton? Besides, Deegan said, his wily smile returning, no good deed should go unnoticed. How humble of you, Mr. Hero. He smiled. He wasn't used to someone busting his balls like this before. He liked the way Red pushed back. So, a deal's a deal, Deegan said, took Nika's keys out, and handed them to Retta. The ship is yours. A smashed door swung on its hinges, then fell from the sky. Deegan looked back at the destroyed ship. But I gotta admit, I feel like you're getting gypped. It's alright, Retta said and took the keys Deegan promised. I got more than what I expected. Their mishap showed her the photo of Nika, Tobias, and the others. It was the clue she wanted to Tobias's past. That, and it gave her an introduction to Deegan. Still, I feel like I owe you. Maybe I can make it up to you? Maybe you could. She stepped closer to Deegan and smiled. A call came from his link, and he stepped away. Sorry, I gotta take this. My supplier wasn't expecting this, he said and looked at the destruction of Nika's ship. But when you're free, come find me. That invite to my ship still stands. I do hear you learn a lot about a person from their ship, Retta said. Deegan let the link ring. He stalled to take in Red for another moment. You're not scared of heights, right? Me? Nah. The link rang again. Good. Good. Well, I'll be seeing you, Red. He smiled. See you. Deegan climbed out the back of the ship, narrowly shimmied along the spine, and answered his link as he left. Retta took a deep breath, stepped towards the opening, and looked down at the market down below. Very, very far down below. Oh, okay, she thought and felt her heart race out of her chest. Okay, maybe I am scared of heights. It took a long time, and a lot of breaks along the way, but Retta scaled down the dragon spine. The sun was almost set when she made her way back to the junk dog. She patted off the dirt, sand, and blood that covered her clothes, and found Tobias leaned against the ship, waiting for her. And there she is. Took you a while. A while? Do you see how high that spine is? I do, Tobias said. He looked up into the sky where Nika's ship was crashed and cradled in the ribs of the spine. So how'd getting Nika's ship go? She knew he was ragging on her. The good news? I got her key. She pulled it out, and Tobias smirked. And what's the bad news? She looked at the destroyed ship in the spine. I'm still working on my landing. Cute. Where's Nika, anyway? Weren't you with her? Tobias rapped his fist against the side of the junk dog. The hull opened, and Nika was hogtied and bound on the ground. Her hands were tied behind her back, and duct tape covered her mouth. I didn't really need the ship. Just needed her. So, I got what I needed, Tobias said. You did good, girl. Reckless, but good. Thanks. But I'd be careful about that boy, he said. I don't trust people in it for the fame. Do you trust anyone? Not much these days. She heard Tobias's stomach grumble, interrupting their serious conversation. Hungry there? We could use some food. Well, do I got something for you? She didn't come fully empty-handed from Nika's ship. She pulled out a crisp credit and displayed it to Tobias. Look at what I got. He looked at it and smiled. Would you look at that? Might be able to get us a meal. Finally, she said, excited. But probably a cold one. Hey, food's food. Better than the cardboard you have. She went into the hull and yelled out, Hey, Alpha! We're getting food, girl! Tobias heard Alpha stir inside, lick her chops, and run to Red with an excited pitter-patter. Tobias smiled, but lingered outside. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the picture that fluttered from Nika's ship. He knew the photo, taken many, many years ago. Tobias took in a deep breath, closed his eyes, and let out. He flipped the photo over, and hidden on the other side was a selfie taken by Red's mom, Celeste. Nika was behind her, and Tobias was in the background, with his back turned to them, working on a ship. Signed in Celeste's handwriting at the bottom, it said, You know, should they really call him the Silver Fox? He's more of a junk dog to me.